Your hands are trying to tell you something right now, and most people completely ignore it until it's too late. Here's what nobody is saying. A stroke doesn't just happen out of nowhere. Your body sends warning signals days, sometimes even weeks before it happens. And those signals, they show up in your hands first. Did you know that over 80% of stroke survivors reported unusual sensations in their hands or arms in the days leading up to their stroke and dismissed it as nothing? So why does everyone keep treating hand symptoms like they're just tiredness or sleeping wrong? And what are the exact signs your hands are showing you right now that you absolutely cannot afford to ignore? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to know exactly what to look for, what it means biologically, and what to do about it. And make sure you stay for sign number 4. It's the one that looks the most harmless, but is actually the most dangerous, and almost no one is talking about it. Let's be real for a second. You've probably felt something in your hands before, a strange tingling, a grip that suddenly felt weak, fingers that went numb for no obvious reason, and you told yourself it was nothing. You shook your hand out, moved on, and forgot about it. I get it, that's what most of us do. But here is the brutal truth about strokes. They are the #1 cause of long-term disability in adults. Not car accidents, not falls, strokes. And here's what makes this even harder to accept. Most strokes are preventable. The problem isn't that your body doesn't warn you. The problem is that we've never been taught what those warnings actually look like. So today, we are breaking this down into 3 parts. First, the biology. What is actually happening inside your blood vessels that makes your hands behave strangely? Second, the 7 hand signs you need to know, ranked from subtle to serious. And third, that one sign I mentioned, the one that disguises itself as something completely ordinary, the one that sends people home from the ER thinking they're fine right before everything goes wrong. By the end of this, you won't just know the symptoms, you'll understand why they happen, and that changes everything. Here's the part most health videos skip because it sounds complicated, but stay with me because this is the piece that makes everything else make sense.
Your brain and your hands are deeply connected. Not metaphorically, literally. The motor cortex, the part of your brain that controls movement, dedicates a disproportionately massive amount of real estate to your hands. More than your legs, more than your torso. Your hands have more direct neural wiring to your brain than almost any other body part, which means when blood flow to the brain starts getting restricted, even slightly, your hands often feel it first. Think of it like this. Imagine your city's water supply starts losing pressure. The first taps to go dry aren't the main ones in the kitchen. They're the ones at the far end of long, thin pipes. Your fingers are those taps. When a blood clot is forming, when a vessel wall is narrowing, when blood pressure is spiking in dangerous ways, your hands lose their signal before your face does, before your speech slurs, before your vision blurs. Your hands are the early warning system your brain sends out before the real crisis hits. And here's what makes this even more urgent. A TIA, a transient ischemic attack, also called a mini-stroke, often causes hand symptoms that last only minutes before disappearing completely. People feel it, they shake it off, the symptoms vanish, and they do nothing. But a TIA is your body screaming at you that a full stroke may be hours or days away. All right, here they are. Pay attention. Sign 1, sudden weakness on one side only. Not both hands, one hand. If you suddenly can't grip something with your right hand, but your left is fine, or vice versa, that asymmetry is the red flag. Stroke symptoms are almost always one-sided, because a blockage in one hemisphere of the brain affects the opposite side of your body. If both hands feel equally tired, that's usually something else. One-sided weakness is different. That's neurological. Sign 2, numbness or tingling that comes and goes. Not the pins and needles you get from sitting on your hand. This is different. This is a numbness that appears suddenly, without a clear cause, and then disappears just as quickly. It might last 30 seconds. It might last 5 minutes, and then it's gone. That cycling pattern, on, off, is characteristic of intermittent blood flow restriction. Your brain is getting patchy supply. Your hand is the meter showing you the readings. Sign 3. A grip that suddenly fails. You're holding a cup of coffee, a phone, a steering wheel, and your hand just lets go. Not because you decided to. Your fingers simply lost the signal. This is called a drop attack in clinical terms when it happens to the whole body. But isolated grip failure in the hand is an early, subtle version of the same mechanism. If this has happened to you more than once in a short period, that pattern matters.
Sign 4. Fingers that turn white or blue suddenly. This one looks like circulation, and sometimes it is just circulation, a condition called Raynaud's. But sudden, unexplained color changes in your fingers, especially when accompanied by any of the other signs on this list, can indicate something more serious. Vasospasm, when blood vessels suddenly clamp shut, is a known stroke precursor, especially in younger women. Don't just write this off as cold hands. Sign 5. Fine motor suddenly failing. You go to type something, button your shirt, pick up a coin, and your fingers won't cooperate. Not because they're stiff or sore, they just don't do what you tell them to. Fine motor control is one of the most complex neurological operations your brain performs. When that precision starts degrading, especially suddenly, it's a sign that the neural pathways governing it are under stress. This is different from normal clumsiness. You'll know the difference. It will feel unfamiliar, like your hand belongs to someone else. Sign 6. Persistent tremor in one hand. Not both. One. A tremor that wasn't there yesterday, that you can't explain, that won't go away when you focus on it. There are many causes of hand tremors: Parkinson's, essential tremor, anxiety, caffeine, but a new, sudden, one-sided tremor in the context of other symptoms is worth taking seriously as a vascular warning. Sign 7, and this is the one I warned you about: sudden and brief hand pain that radiates up the arm. Here's why this one is so dangerous. It often mimics muscle pain. People think they pulled something. They stretch it out, they take an ibuprofen, they go to bed. But sharp, radiating pain that shoots from the hand or wrist up the inner arm, especially on the left side, can be a cardiovascular warning signal, not just for stroke, but for heart attack, which shares many of the same risk factors and warning mechanisms. This is the sign that gets dismissed most often in emergency rooms. This is the one that sends people home. Don't let it send you home. Remember at the start I told you about the one sign that almost nobody talks about? The one that looks harmless but is the most dangerous? It's not the numbness, it's not the weakness, it's the disappearance of symptoms. Here's what I mean. You feel something strange in your hand, weakness, tingling, maybe that grip failure. It lasts a few minutes and then completely gone. You feel totally normal, maybe even better than normal, because the anxiety passes and relief floods in. And that relief is the trap.
Transient symptoms, symptoms that come and go, are the most dangerous kind when it comes to stroke risk because your brain reads "it stopped" as "it's over." But biologically, what just happened is that a small clot temporarily blocked blood flow and then moved or dissolved. The pathway that caused it is still there. The underlying condition, whether it's atrial fibrillation, arterial narrowing, high blood pressure, or a clotting disorder, is still active. Medically, a TIA has roughly a 10 to 15% chance of being followed by a full stroke within 90 days, and half of those strokes happen within the first 48 hours. So the most dangerous thing you can do after transient hand symptoms is nothing. The most dangerous sentence you can say is, "It went away on its own." That's not relief, that's the clock starting. What you actually need to do, and this is the part that can genuinely save your life or someone else's, is apply the FAST test the moment you see any of these signs: face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call emergency services. You don't wait to see if it gets worse. You act on it like it already is the emergency, because it is. And here's one more thing that almost never gets said in these videos. You are not powerless before a stroke happens. The majority of strokes are caused by controllable risk factors: high blood pressure, untreated atrial fibrillation, smoking, unmanaged diabetes, high cholesterol, obesity. These are not destiny. These are decisions, and every single one of them can be reversed or managed with the right intervention. The people who have the best outcomes after stroke risk identification are not the people with the best genetics. They are the people who
took the warning signs seriously before a stroke happened. So here's where we land.
Your hands are not random. They are a direct readout of your neurological and vascular health. When they behave strangely, especially one-sidedly, especially suddenly, especially in ways that feel unfamiliar, that information means something. You now know the 7 signs: sudden one-sided weakness, numbness that cycles on and off, grip failure, color changes in fingers, fine motor breakdown, unexplained one-sided tremor, and that radiating arm pain that looks like a pulled muscle but isn't. You know the science. Your hands are wired closer to your brain than almost anything else. They feel the pressure drop before the full system goes down. And you know the most important thing, the sign that isn't a symptom, but a silence. The disappearance of symptoms is not reassurance, it is urgency. The next time you feel something strange in your hands, don't shake it out and move on. Sit with it for a moment. Ask yourself, is this familiar or is this new? Is it both hands or one? Did it come on suddenly? Is it happening alongside anything else? Your body is not dramatic. It doesn't send signals without reason. The question is whether you are paying enough attention to read them. You just learned how to read them. Now act on what you know.